Hello, on behalf of the City of Federal Way Diversity Commission, my name is Chair Trinice Rogers. I would like to welcome you to a conversation about Cinco de Mayo. And I would like my guests to introduce themselves.
Thank you so much, Trinice. It's definitely an honor to be with you all today. Saludos a todos. My name is Estela Ortega. I'm the Executive Director of El Centro de la Raza, which translates into the Center for People of All Races. And I'm also one of the co-founders of the organization.
Hola, my name is Hilda Magaña, and I'm the director for the Jose Marti Child Development Center, a bilingual bicultural program. Saludos a la querida comunidad de Seattle y de Federal Way.
Thank you. And so right now, Stella, could you please give us a brief overview of El Centro de la Trassa?
Yes, I would be happy to do that. El Centro de la Raza has been in existence since 1972. Next year, the organization will be 50 years old. We have offices, obviously, in Seattle and also in Federal Way. Overall, El Centro has about 43 different programs in the areas of children and youth, emergency and human services, education and skill building programs, housing and economic development, and also we work around culture and advocacy work. At our Federal Way office, we have about 17 programs, and I'll highlight a few of those that are very popular with our community in Federal Way and throughout South County. Those are our workforce programs, programs that help individuals learn about the basics of technology. We also have a program that helps individuals who want to, start in banking by being involved in a banking program. We help people buy homes. There's a lot of interest in our financial empowerment program, which basically helps people clean up their credit. And there's a lot of other programs. In particular, I guess I want to highlight one more, is our Business Opportunity Center that basically helps people start a business, grow a business, or even become certified so that you can apply for funding through the state of Washington. And so all people have to do is just Google El Centro de la Raza and we'll come up and you'll learn about all the different programs that we have at El Centro de la Raza in Federal Way. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that brief overview, and thank you and welcome to the City of Federal Way.
Thank you.
Hilda, could you please explain Cinco de Mayo's origin, historical significance, and lessons learned that are relevant to the community today? Cinco de Mayo is often mistaken as Mexico's Independence Day. When is that day, and how can we honor and respect this holiday?
Yes, Cinco de Mayo is an annual celebration held on Cinco de Mayo. The day is observed to commemorate the Mexican army victory over the French Empire at the Battle of Puebla on May 5th, 1862. What's very significant about this event is that the Mexican army, usually a small group of indigenous Mexicans, won against the big French Empire, and that they have all the artillery, and that was the significance that they were able to be being able to win this battle. How we do respect this holiday is basically celebrating with the real meaning, because people sacrifice their lives to have a better society for us today, and to increase, the awareness to be part of a community. And often indigenous people are undermined, and I think that is very significant that we celebrate with the real meaning of this commemoration.
Hilda, how do you use the history of Cinco de Mayo to empower and lift the morale of our people? How do you incorporate important historical events such as Cinco de Mayo into an educational curriculum?
Well, that is very good question. We, as a society, I think that we gotta validate the diverse group of people that we are in the United States. And we should celebrate these holidays with the real meaning and embedding the history and to the curriculums, and then to do activities with young people, with youth, with adults, with families, all together, and really encourage students to stand up for social justice and to learn their history, their self-identity, and could be done through events in our community. And that is very important. The Chicano movement in the 1960s fought for the right for communities to be part of the beautiful diversity, and to students to learn their identity, their culture. And so we must do those activities and embed it into part of the curriculums and the activities and the educational system.
I would like to add to that, if I could. Basically, as Hilda mentioned, in the 1960s, the Chicano, the Mexican movement that was equal to what was happening in the African-American community looked for ways to celebrate who we are as a people. And Cinco de Mayo was so important because what it meant was, basically fighting against all odds. And we wanted to look for ways to be proud of who we are as a people, to belong. And Cinco de Mayo was one of those events that was, basically learned about, and throughout the years has developed and grown throughout our entire country. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you for that information. And thank you for the additional information, Estela. What steps then should educational institutions take to teach the history to the students? Hilda?
Well, as I mentioned before, the educational system needs to validate the diverse group that we are in the United States, and we need to add these holidays as a part of that who we are, and implement those, not meaning undermining the conventional curriculums. They should be taken into account the cultures, the identity, the language of other peoples, and put it as part of the system. We do not need to assimilate to one culture. We can do both. As El Centro often, since the beginning of the occupation, fought for multiracial unity, and that we are proud and feel good about who we are, where we come from. And by, embedding a special curriculum or progressive curriculum to learn about who we are, actually builds the self-esteem in students and children and adults to be able to feel belong. And that the systems, the educational systems should think about that progressive curriculum, because we are a very diverse population, beautiful, and we don't need to assimilate to do both, to be bilingual, bicultural. Yes.
Thank you, Hilda, for highlighting the importance of not assimilating, but celebrating self-pride and how that plays a role in our youth today and their self-esteem and social and emotional health. Thank you for touching on that. What does Cinco de Mayo mean to you, Hilda? Reflecting from your childhood, can you share some of your most special memories of Cinco de Mayo?
Yes, I do. As I was writing last night to remember that special memory of my early childhood, I wanted to tell the story that I was born in Mexico, and I was born in a little town called La Manzanilla de La Paz, Jalisco. It's very close to Guadalajara, Jalisco. And on the Cinco de Mayo, it was from the school that I attended was very special in doing preparations prior to the Cinco de Mayo. And we will learn to recite poems and to sing the Mexican national anthem. So the story that I wanted to share is that very early in the morning, all the schools from the little town will gather in the big plaza, and then we will have the uniform ourselves. I remember my white blouse with my magenta uniform, and then we will march all around the little town, and then we'll begin coming back to the main plaza where our flag was flying and you can feel the breeze. And they will make us sing the national anthem, el himno nacional mexicano. And we will have to do, this salute, very specific. And we feel proud because all day the activities was to honor those people who die for us now, and that we have a better life. And the celebrations will have a long program after we did the march. We'll be in the plaza, and then different schools will learn about heroes. Like in that time for the Cinco de Mayo, the president was Benito Juarez. And I remember very carefully that I learned to recite something about Benito Juarez, who was the president, a Zapotec lawyer who was elected to be the president at that time. And I felt very proud, and I think that my teachers formed me in that time to really look and to attend civic events and to be part of our community and be part of creating better society. Because to me, it was a big deal that indigenous people who usually undermine, not validating culture, language, and to actually not taking into account won this battle because these people were committed, you know, indigenous activists. And to me it was very beautiful because it was grassroots, you know, organization. And that's what I feel very proud, that is very significant, that this special event would be one of the things that can form us and that can build the self-esteem and feel proud of who we are and where we come from. So that's my story. So
wow.
I did learn, I recite a poem, I say, well, Benito, I remember up to this date, I remember my poem. Yes.
What are other holidays then and days of significance throughout the year that community members can learn about to uplift and celebrate the Latinx culture?
Yes, I did not answer the Cinco de Mayo is confused often with Independence Day. The Independence Day is commemorated on September the 16th, the anniversary of the revolutionary priest Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla, El Grito de Dolores, Cry of Dolores, referring to the city of Dolores Hidalgo, a call of arms to mount the declaration against the colonial government. The 16th of September, it's one of the holidays that we take pride to celebrate. Dia de los Muertos, we do celebrate Dia de los Muertos to honor people who passed away, and the different communities celebrated a little bit different. El Centro celebrated to call attention to oppression or other issues in regard issues in our community. The Children's Day that is coming up pretty soon, Children's Day, and it's also is to call attention to the children's rights. We do celebrate the posadas, you know, during the Christmas time, and we do all these events at El Centro de la Raza and create a sense of community. Because as part of being immigrants, one of the things that we have learned is that families, children, community, themselves identify getting to know more about the history. And as I mentioned before, we don't need to assimilate. We need to be proud of who we are and where we come from. But at the same time, we can be bicultural. You know, we don't have to give up one or the other to socialize and to create a sense of community. Let me see, did I left Cinco de Mayo, 16 de septiembre, Children's Day, Las Posadas. Those are some of the holidays that we take pride to celebrate here with our communities.
Thank you for expanding on those other significant days and throughout the year. And thank you for again highlighting the need to celebrate your culture and the danger surrounding assimilating. So thank you again for that. Why is it then important to continue providing culture events in our communities? What has been the struggle in the communities of color when celebrating cultural events?
As an immigrants and working with families, we have seen the need of finding a hub and a community that celebrates who we are and celebrates our identity and respect our identity. And I feel that it is very important to continue celebrating cultural events because that brings people together. As an immigrant, when you first come to a different culture, a different ways of doing things, we get homesick. And as we are integrating to other cultures and getting to know the cultures and feeling good of where we are, I feel that it is important to continue the history and the traditions of our peoples and to become bicultural, in our opinion, being able to feel good about your identity, your social gatherings with getting to know other people from your culture and getting to know other people from other cultures heightens their respect about our beautiful diversity. We don't have to be all the same. We all so precious and different, and we don't need to we need to recapture where our culture and to follow and to continue the traditions to our children. It is very important that they learn the traditions and that their culture and identity is not forget. And so usually the social and cultural and civic events supports our families, support our children, supports our youth, and as a whole, we all learn and heightens the respect that we need for all the cultures.
Thank you, Hilda. And I like how you, and a few times you've highlighted the importance of multicultural togetherness and expanding outside your culture and getting to know other cultures. So thank you for highlighting the importance of reaching out outside our boundaries, outside our cultural norms, to learn more about other cultures. That is extremely important. So then, Hilda, what messages do you have, or what messages do you want to share with Latinos and people of and other people of other backgrounds about the real significance of Cinco de Mayo, as opposed to the commercialized version that includes tacos and drinking?
So I was going to weigh in on that one,
Okay.
Trinice. So what I think is important for the audience and other Latinos to know about the Cinco de Mayo, that Cinco de Mayo is not complicated. It's about a people who overcame against great odds. And so we want to acknowledge that. We want to be proud about that. We want to share that with other people. And I think that as a people in this country, we are about traditions. You know, we want to remember our traditions. We want to celebrate our traditions, and we want other people to learn about those traditions and who we are as a people. And when we do that, it brings greater unity. It brings people together. And so El Centro de la Raza, not only with the Cinco de Mayo, but many other activities that we organize, is all about, as Hilda said earlier, all about building multiracial unity. And certainly in the times that we're living in, that we have been tested as a people, you know, and how serious and the consequences of this pandemic, and people, you know, especially in the state of Washington, from all walks of life, from, you know, state, city, county, government, individuals have all responded to help each other during this process. And to me, that is an example of what the Cinco de Mayo is about. It's again that we are overcoming against great odds. Certainly with the Cinco de Mayo, we want to create a sense that we belong in this society, we belong in this country. And I think that maybe this is one thing that people don't know about Chicanos, Mexicanos, is that part of this country belonged to Mexico at one time. And I, for myself, as somebody who is originally from Texas, my family had been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the reason that I am a United States citizen is because when those lands were carved off from Mexico by the United States, those who lived on the side, and my family's lived in Texas, and that's what made us a citizen. So again, the Cinco de Mayo, and Hilda said it's so beautiful, but it's affirming who we are as a people, affirming our identity, and to share that beauty and the lessons with our children and the broader community. And as I said early, every people, we all need our traditions, our celebrations, our symbols, so that we don't lose our identity, and that we share that with others. And so clearly Cinco de Mayo is about passing this tradition on to our children from one generation to another. And every generation brings new energy into what the significance of Cinco de Mayo is. It's against all odds. It's against struggling for a better world. And just as our DACA youth have been doing what they've been doing. And so what we want people to learn about each other as we share our cultures. And this is not just for Mexicans, Latinos in terms of the Cinco de Mayo, but, there's so many beautiful traditions in the African-American community, and the fact that we have just signed into law that Juneteenth is going to be a statewide holiday. That's all part of that struggle of belonging and people knowing who we are. There's so much to learn from the Native American community, the Asian community, and obviously the Latinos. And the more that we learn about each other as a people, that's going to build hope in our communities. It's going to lead to better relationships, and hopefully then that impacts policy, racial equity, and economic opportunity. And so in closing about the Cinco de Mayo, it reflects America's ability to embrace diversity and to celebrate the tradition of the many people who make up our great nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Estella. Thank you so much for that American history. And thank you for highlighting the many important origins of Cinco de Mayo. And I trust that this conversation has been a great learning experience for many. And I personally have learned some things today. And Estella, from a personal note, I would like to thank you for acknowledging Juneteenth. Thank you for acknowledging that. I really appreciate that. And there are so many similarities across cultural when it comes to our conversation. But more importantly, I'm just excited to welcome El Centro de la Trassa to the city of Throwaway. Thank you for engaging in this amazing conversation. And we look forward to, the City of Throwaway Diversity Commission look forward to a strong partnership in the future. And so if there's anything else, anything that needs to be said, Hilda or Estella, would you like to say anything in closing before we end this rich and amazing conversation today?
I actually would like to say one other thing, and to thank the commission, the City of Federal Way, because this is the kind of events that educate people about who we are. And so I hope that y'all will continue to look at other communities, and I understand that you do, but these are important events that are very meaningful to the Latino community, that a city government like Federal Way is acknowledging and knows that Cinco de Mayo is an important tradition, an important celebration in the Latino community. And so we're just very grateful for your generosity and respecting who we are as a people, to spend the time with us learning about El Centro de la Raza, learning about Cinco de Mayo, and for El Centro, the importance of multiracial unity.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. And with that, thank you for joining. Until next time.